Hi, welcome to a new episode from Meta Stories. The Mystery of the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is a mythic alchemical substance capable of turning base metals such as mercury into gold or silver. It is also called the elixir of life, useful for rejuvenation and for achieving immortality. For many centuries, it was the most sought-after goal in alchemy. The Philosopher's Stone was the central symbol of the mystical terminology of alchemy, symbolizing perfection at its finest, enlightenment, and heavenly bliss. Efforts to discover the Philosopher's Stone were known as the magnum opus, great work. The earliest known written mention of the Philosopher's Stone is in the Charachmata by Zosimos of Panopolis. Alchemical writers assign a longer history. Elias Ashmole and the anonymous author of Gloria Mundi, 1620, claim that its history goes back to Adam, who acquired the knowledge of the stone directly from God. This knowledge was said to have been passed down through biblical patriarchs, giving them their longevity. The legend of the stone was also compared to the biblical history of the Temple of Solomon and the rejected cornerstone described in Psalm. The theoretical roots outlining the stone's creation can be traced to Greek philosophy. Alchemists later used the classical elements, the concept of anima mundi, and creation stories presented in texts like Plato's Timaeus as analogies for their process. According to Plato, the four elements are derived from a common source or prima materia, first matter, associated with chaos. Prima materia is also the name alchemists assigned to the starting ingredient for the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. The importance of this philosophical first matter persisted throughout the history of alchemy. In the 17th century, Thomas Vaughan writes, "The first matter of the stone is the very same with the first matter of all things." In the Byzantine Empire and the Arab empires, early medieval alchemists built upon the work of Zosimos. Byzantine and Arab alchemists were fascinated by the concept of metal transmutation and attempted to carry out the process. The 8th century Muslim alchemist Jabir ibn Hayyan, Latinized as Geber, analyzed each classical element in terms of the four basic qualities. Fire was both hot and dry, earth cold and dry, water cold and moist, and air hot and moist. He theorized that every metal was a combination of these four principles, two of them interior and two exterior. From this premise, it was reasoned that the transmutation of one metal into another could be effected by the rearrangement of its basic qualities. This change would be mediated by a substance, which came to be called zirion in Greek and al-iksir in Arabic, from which the word elixir is derived. It was often considered to exist as a dry red powder, also known as al-kibrit al-amar, red sulfur, made from a legendary stone, the Philosopher's Stone. The elixir powder came to be regarded as a crucial component of transmutation by later Arab alchemists. In the 11th century, there was a debate among Muslim world chemists on whether the transmutation of substances was possible. A leading opponent was the Persian polymath Avicenna, Ibn Sina, who discredited the theory of the transmutation of substances, stating, "Those of the chemical craft know well that no change can be effected in the different species of substances, though they can produce the appearance of such change." According to legend, the 13th century scientist and philosopher, Albertus Magnus, is said to have discovered the Philosopher's Stone. Magnus does not confirm he discovered the stone in his writings, but he did record that he witnessed the creation of gold by transmutation. The 16th century Swiss alchemist Paracelsus, Philippus Aureolus Theophrastus Bombastus von Hohenheim, believed in the existence of alkahest, which he thought to be an undiscovered element from which all other elements, earth, fire, water, air, were simply derivative forms. Paracelsus believed that this element was, in fact, the Philosopher's Stone. The English philosopher Sir Thomas Browne in his spiritual testament Religio Medici, identified the religious aspect of the quest for the Philosopher's Stone when declaring, "The smattering I have of the Philosopher's Stone, which is something more than the perfect exaltation of gold, hath taught me a great deal of divinity." A mystical text published in the 17th century called the Mutus Liber appears to be a symbolic instruction manual for concocting a philosopher's stone. Called the Wordless Book, it was a collection of 15 illustrations. The most commonly mentioned properties are the ability to transmute base metals into gold or silver, and the ability to heal all forms of illness and prolong the life of any person who consumes a small part of the Philosopher's Stone diluted in wine. Other mentioned properties include creation of perpetually burning lamps, transmutation of common crystals into precious stones and diamonds, reviving of dead plants, creation of flexible or malleable glass, and the creation of a clone or homunculus. Descriptions of the Philosopher's Stone are numerous and various. According to alchemical texts, the stone of the philosophers came in two varieties, prepared by an almost identical method. White, for the purpose of making silver, and red, for the purpose of making gold, the white stone being a less matured version of the red stone. Some ancient and medieval alchemical texts leave clues to the physical appearance of the stone of the philosophers, specifically the red stone. It is often said to be orange, saffron-colored, or red when ground to powder. Or in a solid form, an intermediate between red and purple, transparent and glass-like. The weight is spoken of as being heavier than gold, and it is soluble in any liquid, and incombustible in fire. Alchemical authors sometimes suggest that the stone's descriptors are metaphorical. The appearance is expressed geometrically in Michael Myers' Atalanta Fugine's Emblem 21, 1617. Make of a man and woman a circle, then a quadrangle. Out of this a triangle. Make again a circle, and you will have the stone of the wise. Thus is made the stone, which thou canst not discover, unless you, through diligence, learn to understand this geometrical teaching. He further describes in greater detail the metaphysical nature of the meaning of the emblem as a divine union of feminine and masculine principles. The philosopher's stone is created by the alchemical method known as the magnum opus or the great work. Often expressed as a series of color changes or chemical processes, the instructions for creating the philosopher's stone are varied. When expressed in colors, the work may pass through phases of negredo, albedo, citronidas, and rubedo. When expressed as a series of chemical processes, it often includes 7 or 12 stages concluding in multiplication and projection. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep explore.